Okay, testing. Oh, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, testing. All these little last-minute details. Always. So good to see you. And me.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here with us. My name is Joanne McGuire, for you who don't know that, and I'm here as host with Reverend David this morning.
And good morning, everyone. Thank you. I am back from a vacation, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and which was thoroughly too short. As always. But anyway, very glad to be back. Good to see everyone here. Whatever your faith background, whatever your race, gender, sexual orientation, age, or ability, we want you to understand that you are welcome here. And we come together to encourage and support one another in our individual spiritual journeys. No matter where you are in that process, you are welcome, and we're glad that you joined us today.
So I'd like to introduce our musical team for this morning. We have Mike Karloff and Angela Shaka, and they're here to bring their skills to us. So appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, as we always do, let us open in prayer. So I do invite you to just take a moment and allow yourself to really relax into this present moment. And take a couple of deep breaths as we do focus on this time that we are here together in prayer. And this time that we come together to realize the truth of who we are, each and every one of us. In this moment, we allow ourselves to feel the presence of Spirit, that Spirit in which we live and move and have our being. That Spirit in which all of the guidance, all of the wisdom, all of the peace, all of the love, whatever it is that we are looking for is within us. And so we tap into that truth that we are spiritual beings, connected with each other, connected with Spirit, connected with all of life. And in this oneness, we just allow ourselves to feel a really great sense of gratitude for this time today that we have to spend together, and the time that we will spend together later during our fellowship afterwards. And we're all invited to do that. So we take another deep breath, and we allow ourselves to feel that gratitude one more time. Think of one thing that you are grateful for, one thing today that you are truly, truly grateful for. And hold that in your thoughts for just a moment. And let's all say together, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen.
I'd like to introduce our prayer chaplain for today. It's Tim Eckert, and Tim is over here. He's got his hand raised, and he will be upstairs after the service in the prayer room. So if you would like to spend some time with Tim, please do so.
And also, you do know that we do have our prayer box up here, and if you do have a prayer request that you would like our prayer chaplain team to hold in prayer with you for the rest of the month, just write it down and put it in the prayer box here. We'll be sure to pray with you about whatever that request is.
And in addition to that, I'd just like to remind you that we have an online 24/7 prayer support through Silent Unity. The number's on the screen. Well, not quite, but I'll tell you what the number is. It's phone number 1-800-NOW-PRAY.
Okay, it's time for some music. So everyone, you can stand up if you'd like.
Our first song today is Change the Way.
What do you want? Where do you want to go? You'll get what you want if you act as if you know. It starts with you. Do you believe it? It's all in the way that you choose to see it. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 do. When you feel lost and you can't find your way, keep your eye on the prize. It will materialize. You can't miss. Change your perception, leading you to a new direction. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change change. You can do it. Change change. It's a sure thing. Change change. Expect a miracle. Change. Watch me change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 change. Do 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 do.
All right, and the next song, The Power of Now.
The power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so gracefully. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows oh so easily. of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control, for everything goes away. Let everything wash away the power of now. The power of now is ever flowing, connecting the soul to the one. The power of now unfolds so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control, for everything goes away. Let everything wash away the power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. All sorts of little technicalities.
So let's just talk a little bit about the Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor. It is a progressive spiritual community that emphasizes personal growth, living consciously, and making a positive difference in the world. As part of a new thought and the worldwide unity movement, we strive to be compassionate, inclusive, open-minded, service-oriented, abundantly spirit-filled.
Unity teaches individual. Our realization of that truth evolves as we expand our consciousness. Unity recognizes that we create life. Affirmative prayer is a form of creative thought, while meditation stills the mind and heightens our awareness of our oneness with spirit, with each other, and with all of life. Living from that awareness transforms our lives and transforms our world.
So we have a new affirmation for September, and it is, I let go and let divine life fulfill itself in and through me. Can you say that with me, please?
I let go and let divine life fulfill itself in and through me. And now it's for some time for some special music. Angelica, what do you have for us?
We have a beautiful song called All That's Good by
Great.
lyricist and musician Denise Rosier. I've heard it said that we're small and alone on our path, but my mind is set on a life greater than that. And my heart is open wide. My heart will be open wide. All that's good that flows from above and below. I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold. I am that. I am that. All that's good. All that's good. Some say the answers I seek are found on my knees, but I listen inside to the whisper, I'm all that I need. And my heart is open wide. My heart will be open wide. All that's good that flows from above and below. I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold. I am that. I am that. All that's good. All is for me. Oh, I am worthy. I am worthy. Oh, all is for me. Oh, I am worthy. I am worthy. All that's good that flows from above and below. I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold. I am that. I am that. All the joy that love from a life above. I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold. I am that. I am that. All that's good. All that's good. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Angelica. That was beautiful. It's a lovely song. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mike. Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all. I have sort of a silly joke. Yeah, I always like to have one. It's funny, I woke up this morning, I didn't have one, and I opened up this little book of jokes, and the very first joke I read was this one, and I said, nah, I don't want to do that one. And that's the only one I can remember. It's the only one I can remember. So it's these two assassins are planning on killing this political leader. And so they, see, it's not the best joke in the world. I mean, it's not the best subject in the world. But anyway, so they're going to, they're planning out this hit on this political leader. And so they watch his every move. I mean, they know his whole schedule throughout the week, and especially the day that they plan to assassinate him. So they all get everything set up. They know exactly what to do. They're set up, and then they wait for the prime minister to come in, and he doesn't. And an hour goes by, and he still doesn't come. And then another hour goes by, and he still doesn't show up. And one of them says, I wonder what happened. And the other one says, I don't know, but I hope he's okay. It made me laugh too, so. Yeah, I hope he's okay. Actually, the line was, I hope nothing happened to him. That was the line that was even probably better, but anyway, the same thing. Oh, okay. So, I enjoyed, I really needed to take some time off. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for allowing me to do that. And like I said, with all vacations, the only problem was it was a little bit too short. Time, I mean, that month just flew by, just totally flew by. So anyway, today we are continuing this exploration of Dr. Wayne Dyer's book, Your Sacred Self, Making the Decision to Be Free. And in his book, Dr. Dyer invites us on a sacred quest, which is really all about having your highest self be your true self, to be making the daily decisions in your life instead of your ego. That's what it's all about. It's freeing yourself from your ego and all of its complications and allowing your true self, your higher self, your Christ self, to be the driver in the driver's seat of your car instead of your ego. So he says, Dyer says the question that is most frequently asked concerning the sacred self and the ego is, how do I know whether it's my ego or my highest self beckoning me to at any given moment in my life? So the biggest portion of his book is part 3, which right before my vacation I started sort of looking into. And part 3 is transcending our ego identities. And he said he wrote this whole section and spent most of his time on this whole section to guide us in how to respond to that question, how best to respond to that question of how do I know whether it's my ego or my higher self beckoning me at any given moment in my life. He writes in his book, he says, at any given moment in your life, you are choosing between 2 pictures or evaluations of yourself. Your choices include the one offered by your soul or your higher self, which Dyer calls the voice of God, or the one offered by the ego, or your false idea of yourself. And you decide how you view yourself and how you view others as well. So essentially, you accept either ego's picture of yourself and others or that of your higher spiritual self. So throughout his book, Dyer is making suggestions to help you get in touch with and understand your ego so that you can transcend it. And his first suggestion is really quite simple, is just really get to know your ego, okay? Try to determine when it's operating as the dominant influence in your life. Ask yourself, am I listening to my false self or my higher self? The more you can be aware of the presence of ego and how it's manipulating you, the less influence it will have over you. And the awareness of your ego at work is the first step to taming it. So it's important to understand this concept of ego. And the term ego is used in a psychological sense as the operating system for our human self. That's part of the package, okay? It's part of being human. The ego is essential for the functioning of our human self. And it can be more or less healthy, developed, and mature. And this is what psychologists and therapists work with, is helping you to have a healthy ego. But the word ego can also be used in a spiritual sense as the apparent I and me that's either identified with or not. And that's mostly what we're talking about here. The ego is the idea of I, who you believe yourself to be. It's the sum of all the beliefs that you carry about with you, your personality, your worth, your abilities, your ego is made of many, many different beliefs that we acquire over our lifetime with the help of parents and siblings and friends and even enemies, even the bullies in the schoolyards, in schools, in churches, and our culture. We have been, as I've discussed before, we have been programmed with these beliefs. And they can be extremely diverse, and they can be very contradictory. And to further complicate it, each person's ego is uniquely its own, totally different. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, and I've spoken and used quotes from him before, is Adyashanti, who is from the Zen tradition. He teaches and lives in the Bay Area outside of San Francisco. And I found myself, when I was looking at this and writing out this talk, I kept on going back to things that I had read with both Adyashanti and also Eckhart Tolle. These things just came to mind. Adyashanti says that who you think you are is just that. It is who you think you are. It is who you have been taught to believe that you are. It's a conglomeration of beliefs about yourselves, ideas, opinions, judgments, all the ways that mind keeps thinking about a self. All the ways the mind keeps thinking a separate self into existence. Adya goes on to say that the ego is neither positive nor negative. Those are just simply concepts that create more boundaries. Ego is just ego, and the disaster of it all, he says, is that you, as a spiritual seeker, have been conditioned to think that the ego is bad. You've been taught to think that the ego is your enemy and is something to be destroyed. This simply strengthens the ego. In fact, such conclusions arise from the ego itself. So he advises, don't pay attention to them. Don't go to war with yourself. And just simply inquire, who am I? The thing is that you are so much more than your ego. But as long as you're identified with the mind, you can't see that. You won't see that. Carl Jung, the psychologist, wrote in his book, The Undiscovered Self, he says, anyone who has any ego consciousness at all takes it for granted that he knows himself. But the ego knows only its own contents, not the unconscious and its contents. In other words, you can only see the content of the box you're looking from. You can't recognize yourself as something more than the mind with the mind. The ego carries the idea of who you are, but it is not who you are. It's the filter. It's the film that the light of your consciousness is being projected through. And you know, we have all these different spiritual, different filters, which can be, and one of the filters can be a spiritual filter. But we have all of these different filters, such as I'm spiritual, or I'm a successful businessman, or a successful businesswoman filter, or I'm a loser filter, or I'm smart filter, or I'm a victim filter. I'm better than you filter. I'm not worthy filter. And that filter will determine how you experience the world and yourself, as long as you're identified with the filter. So as our third unity principle states, we create our life experiences by the thoughts and the feelings that we hold in mind. These filters is how we see ourselves. And at the same time, it is extremely important to remember, as Eckhart Tolle points out, that spiritual realization is to see clearly that what I perceive, experience, think, or feel is ultimately not what I am or who I am. We cannot find ourselves in all of those things that continuously pass away. So in my last talk, right before the vacation, we began exploring ways to transcend our ego identities. And again, we started by asking the question, how do I know whether it is my ego or my higher self beckoning me at any given moment in my life? And Dyer says the first answer to the question, and this is sort of a review of last week or the last month when I did this, the first answer to the question posed is if it brings you a sense of peace, then it is your higher self at work. Because your higher self is always nudging you towards a resolution of the conflicts that you experience in your life. And so that you will have room for serenity and harmony. And Dyer encourages us to really pay attention to those feelings. He says the only peace in your world is in your personal life is what he calls the peace of God. But in truth, peace is our natural state as a spiritual being. Joy is our natural state as a spiritual being. So if you're living with inner turmoil, continually quarreling with yourself and feeling anxious and fearful, then you are allowing ego to dominate your life. And if you feel serene and peaceful, ego has been replaced by your higher sense of self, your higher power. So you can always ask yourself, will what I'm going to do bring me peace or will it bring me turmoil? If the answer is turmoil, either in your thoughts or in your physical world, then you must examine how and why you are allowing ego to dominate your life. If the answer is peace, then you know what to do and how to think. And you know that your higher self is actively working for you at this very moment. In every moment of your life, you have the option to choose peace for yourself. In every moment of your life, you have the option to choose peace. Your false self, your ego, thrives on your inner anxiety. And Eckhart Tolle talked about how the ego needs to be periodically in conflict with something or someone in order to strengthen its sense of separation between me and the other, without which, Tolle says, the ego cannot survive. The ego wants you in a constant state of agitation to keep you from embracing your higher self. Dyer says that we need to carefully examine the choices that block our experience of peace, our experience of God. Just knowing that peace is always an alternative is a significant awakening for us. So replacing the turmoil that you so often choose is then a simple matter of allowing your higher self to take over in any situation where you are about to allow turmoil to enter. Your ego will push you in the direction of a fight away from peace. You must be ready to see it as it is about to happen and invite your higher self to step in. As we become fully present and aware of any difficult situation we find ourselves in, we open up a space for our higher self to take charge. So today we're looking at transcending our ego identities by moving from deception to truth. And for Dyer, the key to our spiritual growth and any hope of eventual enlightenment is to shift the focus of our attention from the outside of us to that which is within us, our true selves. It's actually our invitation to change our belief system. It's a change of perspective where we stop looking at life through the eyes of our ego, through the eyes of our false self and its belief that we're separate and distinct from everyone else, and instead that we look through the eyes of our sacred self or our Christ self, that part within us that knows the truth of who we are, that knows that we are one with Spirit, each other, and with all of life. So it's a change of perspective from being a human being having a spiritual experience to being a spiritual being having a human experience. And for Dyer, a commitment to truth means a huge step in the direction of curtailing the ego, which thrives on deception and on phoniness. As I prepared this talk, again, I said all these things came up from Adyashanti and Eckhart Tolle. For Adya, he says there is no greater challenge for a human being than to be completely honest with oneself as with others. And yet, such honesty, he says, is absolutely necessary if we are ever to awaken from our dream of separation and live a truly genuine and undivided life. It's essential that we completely face ourselves and our lives without withdrawing into denial, judgment, and magical thinking. It is a means of piercing through the veils of illusion and awakening to the truth. Wisely, Adya points out that your life, all of your life, is your path to awakening. By resisting or not dealing with all of its challenges, you stay asleep to reality. Adya says, pay attention to what life is trying to reveal to you. Say yes to its fierce, ruthless, and loving grace. So it's essential to understand that the sacred dimension is not something that you can know through words and ideas any more than you can learn what an apple pie tastes like by eating the recipe. I chuckled when I read that, it was Adya who wrote that, and I chuckled because I have, as many of you know, I have a huge cookbook collection, an embarrassingly huge cookbook collection, because that was sort of my former life, being in the food and the food business. And so how sad it would be, I thought, that, I went into the kitchen and all I found was all these cookbooks and recipes, but no food. The modern age has forgotten that facts and information, for all their usefulness, are not the same as truth or wisdom, and certainly not the same as direct experience. Many sages have said that your world is a dream. You're living in an illusion. And what they're referring to is this world of the mind and the way we believe our thoughts about reality. When we see the world through our thoughts, we stop experiencing life as it really is and others as they really are. As long as you mistakenly look at the mind for truth, it will continue to haunt you to no end. The best course of action is to look and see for yourself that nothing in the mind is ultimately true, real, or existing. Jesus said, I am the way and the truth and the life. I want you to know that the same truth that was in Jesus Christ is in you. Eckhart Tolle says, the truth is inseparable from who you are. Yes, you are the truth. If you look for it elsewhere, you will be deceived every time. In the book of St. John, we read that the truth will set you free. Well, that's not the whole scripture. It says you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. As Tolle goes on to explain, he says, only the truth of who you are, if realized, will set you free. Tolle says that the truth is you don't have a life, you are life. Adyashanti says that the truth is that you already are what you are seeking. Many of our ideas and beliefs about ourselves and the world are so deeply ingrained that we are unaware that they are just beliefs, and we take them without question for the absolute truth. Rupert Spira, another one of my favorite spiritual teachers, essentially points out the crux of the problem. He says, the crux of the problem is we take that which is unreal to be real, and that which is real to be unreal. So we're so busy, as Adya would say, and so busy and obsessed with our restless thinking about everything and everyone that we have mistaken our thinking about everything and everyone for everything and everyone. This tendency to take our thoughts to be real is what keeps the dream state intact and keeps us trapped within its domain of unconsciousness and strife. To many people, the very idea that what is more real than all their beliefs and opinions about what is hard to believe. But that's how it is when you are caught up in a dream. Joel Goldsmith, the mystic of the way, said that the fact that truth is true is of no avail to us. He says, that is why you've got to know the truth. You have to know it consciously, and you have to know it constantly. The responsibility is all upon your shoulders. He explains that the teachings of the world have not gone beyond seeking truth through the mind. It has not gone through books, seeking through books. It has not gone through seeking through teachings. And until you realize that you are never going to find the truth in this way, you have not begun your spiritual journey. The truth, the secret behind the universe, is not to be known with the mind or through the mind. Charles Fillmore, I've used this statement recently because I just recently found it and it really hit home for me. He made this statement that the truth you know is the truth you use. Otherwise, it is only theory and has no power to change your life. We become the witness of this truth of oneness by purposefully living and acting from and as that truth. Believing the truth is not the answer. Experiencing the truth is the answer. And we experience the truth by living the truth. So we learn to go beyond the mind through our spiritual practices of prayer and meditation. And we learn to separate from the ego and its doings and to identify with our true spiritual essence that contains the mind and the entire universe. The ongoing invitation is to be fully present to your life and everything that happens in it, and to constantly remind yourself of who you are and to act from that awareness. Now let us prepare for our meditation. So we're going to listen to a little music as we prepare for our meditation, and so I do invite you to just relax in your seat, close your eyes if you wish, but just become comfortable as we prepare for this meditation.
I am so blessed.
And you can sing this if you'd like.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
my friends, we are. We are so blessed. So I invite you to just open your hearts and open your minds as we rest here for a while in the silence, as we allow ourselves to just be fully and completely open to the presence of Spirit, as we allow ourselves to feel that connection, not only with Spirit, but with each of the persons here in this building and with all of life. So we open our hearts and we open our minds to this oneness, this truth of who we are. The truth that we are one with Spirit. And in this oneness again, we are always, always, always in touch with whatever it is that we need, that we feel that we need in our life. Whether it is peace or understanding, whether it is healing, whether it is wisdom, whether it is guidance, all of that is within each and every one of us. So let us just spend just a little while in the silence, open and receptive to that peace, to that love, to that healing. So as we bring our attention back to this place and this time, we allow ourselves to feel that sense of gratitude for all of the blessings, all the rich, rich blessings in our life. So again, let's just sing our song and mean it, and just realize how blessed we truly are.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. am so blessed.
That was good. I felt that. Yes. Thank you, Reverend David. It was a very timely talk, and it's really great to keep pursuing this Dwayne Dyer book on the sacred self. I mean, we have an ego, but we're not just our ego, and to actually have a spiritual groundedness keeps that more focused in terms of what we are really about. So thank you for all those great reminders. And as well, thank you very much for the music. It's such a special time for you to share your skills with us, and I just so appreciate it. I'm sure we all do. So thank you.
All I can think of is we are so blessed.
Okay, so
So it's a time for us to take to heart our vision, mission, and statement of being, which is shown on our screen. We are.
So we have a global vision, and will you please speak it with me? Our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And we have a sacred mission. Will you say it with me? We inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world.
And we also have a statement of being. Will you please say that with me? I am a dynamic center of the Christ life, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. Announcements. We have a few announcements we'd like to let you know about. And check out the new look in our weekly newsletter. You will find all the links to our website, classes, and spirit groups, as well as Facebook and YouTube for our Sunday live streaming. The Unity Worldwide will open a World Day of Prayer on Wednesday, September 7th at 8 p.m. on Zoom. Unity Canada will host a Zoom service on Thursday, September 8th at 1 p.m. So please see the newsletter for the free registration links.
Actually, it's not all in the newsletter, but we're sending out an email blast with everybody with those connections. So this is the World Day of Prayer coming up, so we do invite you to take part in that, a powerful service. Okay.
And the world can use that.
Right. So please consider joining us in the second series of an ongoing Strengthen Your Spiritual Muscle, presented by Mariette Jones. And then it's a 4-part series, and it starts September the 11th from October to October the 2nd. So it'll be 4 consecutive Sundays after the service from 12:15 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. And so each class is a standalone if it needs to be, so you don't have to show up for all of them. And this is not a repeat of spring's offering. You'll be exploring and doing some exercises. 4 different spiritual tools are not yet covered. Is that what you're saying here? And we will focus on putting our faith into action, putting Unity's 5th principle into practice. Okay, together, hand in hand, we will walk the truth we know. I like that.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mariette.
Mm-hmm. There will be a congressional meeting on Sunday, September 11th, following the Sunday service. The meeting will be for an hour at 11:45. Will be for a half hour from 11:45 to 12:15 on Zoom and in person. The purpose of the meeting, a look ahead, financial update, question and answers with the board of directors.
It's going to be upstairs, right? Yeah, it'll be
And
upstairs
on Zoom,
in the
it says,
fellowship
yeah.
hall. Yeah. Okay, so being a spirit group facilitator is fun and rewarding, and the purpose of our spirit groups program is to inspire infinite connections through healthy, balanced small groups. And anyone interested, or for those who would like a refresher on the spirit group concept, it's invited to register for a class, which is going to be Saturday, September the 10th, from 11 o'clock in the morning to 4 p.m. It's all done on Zoom. I'm going to be involved in that. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about the spirit groups and hosting a spirit group, please sign up for and register for it.
Bingo is back at All Star Gaming Center on Walker Road. In community partnership with the Unity Spiritual Center, bingo sessions are daily at 11:45 and 2 p.m. daily, and the game rooms are open daily, and we're always looking for volunteers to support us in that.
So,
Please join us next Sunday, September 11th. Marietta Jones will be our guest speaker, and she will be talking about, the title of her talk is Love Yourself. How appropriate after this talk. There you go.
That's good. I'm real good at using some of my other talks. So. Okay, so I want to remind you that our prayer chaplain today is Tim Eckert, and Tim does not look like that at all.
No, that's not a picture of Tim.
That's not this, yeah.
But that's okay. We know what Tim looks like.
We know Tim. Tim's sitting over there. He'll be glad to pray with you.
But please, somebody let him know. Let's see. My turn. Please join us for fellowship and conversation directly after the service today in our fellowship upstairs. In terms of donations and love offerings, all of our classes, programs, and services are made possible by your generous donations. Our heartfelt thanks for your contribution and support. We've created many easy ways to donate, which can be found on our website.
So we do indeed thank you so much, because you are the ones that make this happen and keep us going. Also, those bingo sessions are really helping out a whole lot too. So if that is one way that you could really help us out, if other than money wise and financially, just volunteering for some of those bingo games. Because those bingo games are literally paying our rent right now. So we're very grateful for that. Mariette? Oh, absolutely. Right. Absolutely right. So, yeah, so we're looking for volunteers. It's easy. Just talk with Donna over here, and she will get you all the information you need. And it's simple. It's really simple, and it's somewhat fun, don't you think? Yeah.
And I just want to acknowledge Paul Chandler, because he's been handling a lot of that scheduling, which can be quite challenging. So thank you, Paul, for all your effort.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I want to thank Bob McGuire for actually pointing us and steering us towards that. So, yes. Oh, Donna. Yeah, Donna. Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
one other thank you before we go on is I just want to thank our computer tech.
Oh, Leo. Yes, Leo.
So thank you, Leo, for all your work.
Yeah. We are very grateful, Leo. We definitely are.
So we invite you now to... Did you do the love offering?
No,
Okay,
we do
sorry.
have just a love offering basket is over there at the front. So you may use that as you leave to drop off a prayer, an offering, or a tithe. And so that's just right over there. And you can do that. And so we can do our love offering blessing now.
Okay, there
So
we
if
go.
you have your love offering blessing, just put it in your hands, and we will say the blessing.
Divine
Love in me and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so let's all stand and let us sing our peace song, and then we'll close with our prayer for protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, everybody.